Good morning and welcome to episode 8 of the Sports Break. I'm Renee Washington, joined by Kwame Fisher-Jones, and it is Tuesday, July 11th. We're here on RVN TV, and we are talking sports, of course.
As always.
As always.
The only thing that matters in life.
It does. Sports are the key.
I thought you a little bit the first 2 minutes. I thought you a little bit.
So, let's start off with something that is a sad topic. It's an issue that we face a lot, that we see a lot. Concussions. We saw the movie with Will Smith, but it's real. It's very real.
Tell the truth.
So it started with Tom Brady following the Super Bowl championship. His wife Giselle said that he had suffered a concussion during the season, didn't report it. 6 weeks later, which was this past week, he denied it. His agent denied it. But an even deeper story, we actually have a former NFL player, Davon Hall, who is now in jail, or being held in jail, pending his trial for murdering his mother. And his family members have said that a big reason why the reason why he killed his mother was he was mentally ill from concussions he suffered in college and the NFL, and that the league did not do what they were supposed to do to protect him and to help make sure that he got the treatment he needed. So this is something that you're hearing. I mean, I'm wondering, in light of the movie, or the concussion movie, is this something that we're going to continue to hear more about?
Yeah, well, we are going to continue to hear more about it because it's the backdrop to a lot of people who are trying to find rhyme for the reason,
right?
For some of the things that are going on. But it's tough. It's difficult because you're not gonna like this. I can tell you.
Oh,
you're not gonna like this. Well,
here we go.
All right. Yeah, I would cross my legs, but parts I have don't allow me to do such things. So I'll lean back in my introspective view. There's a thing legally called, in law, called contributory negligence.
Okay.
And what that basically means is, if you decide that you want to go run in traffic, you can't turn around and say, I got hit by a car as they were driving. Because you contributed to that negligence. That's essentially what that means. You're looking at me like I'm crazy. I'll use another example. If you decide to rent a lawnmower and they say, that lawnmower backfires and can catch on fire, you go, oh, it's okay, I can work it out, and then you catch on fire, you can't turn around and sue them because the negligence...
That was a better one.
Okay.
That was better.
Well, it's the same thing. You made a decision to play in traffic. But anyway, I digress. So the point I'm trying to make is, football is a contact sport.
Right.
We all know, as you probably can look at me, I've dabbled a little bit in football. Contact football. So, and I made a conscious decision as I got older, even as a recruited athlete, that I didn't want to take that next step. Everyone that I know that played football in college, except for so I can't say everyone, but maybe 1 or 2 people, decided to end, even though they had pro opportunities, decided they didn't want to put their body through that wear and tear.
Right.
So there's a certain amount of responsibility that you as the athlete have to accept. Everything in life, especially the greater the reward, the greater the price.
I'm going to have to agree with you, actually.
So,
but...
Wow. I was not expecting that.
To an extent.
Get in my seat.
To an extent. I do feel like, as an athlete, and I know I've had concussions and tried to deny it, and I've tried to get around it. I mean, I got punched in the face by a goalkeeper and tried to act like I didn't have. That happens in soccer. It's a contact sport, which you probably didn't know.
Someone punched you in the face.
The goalkeeper went to save the ball, and I went to
so it wasn't like,
she's
not looking. Okay.
No.
Okay. Yeah.
No. But that happens too. But
so
anyways. And as an athlete, you just want to compete. You don't want to hear you have a concussion and you can't, and now you have to sit in your room, you have to sit in the dark, you can't do anything, and you want to be out there playing. And a concussion is one of those injuries where you don't, like, a broken ankle, a hurt knee is one thing. A concussion is just like, you just have to sit and wait.
It's a little different with football because in your sport, you're not expecting to get punched in the face. It's a reaction thing. With football, you're expecting to hit someone.
Right.
Like, it's essentially a traffic accident every play. So you figure 50
But I think that's the problem because that's kind of the norm. So as a soccer player getting punched, it's like, all right, this is clearly something that's not normally going to happen. Mm-hmm. We need to address it. in football, every player is getting hit.
So
you're expecting that there's a chance that somebody may just.
It's not a chance. You're not to play football. You're not wired right.
Right.
To be successful at football, you're really not wired right. So
also true.
You can't, as a football player, like as a soccer player, you may be able to get some sort of reparation for your injury for concussion because it's an unexpected injury. I'm gonna say something that's gonna really, really rile some people up. As a football player, you cannot turn around and sue the sport because you knew going in that this was going to, not if, it was. And were you one of the lucky ones that, can remember, that don't affect short-term memory loss, don't have arthritis in your neck now, can turn left and fully turn right, which I can't do to this day. I laid that boy out, but as a consequence, I can't go all the way to my right.
That's as far as you can go.
That's as far as I can probably go further if you pushed me, but the point is I can go all the way here, but with that, I'm stuck here. So,
wow.
It's just like lifting weights.
Yeah.
I can't sue LA Fitness because I got bursitis in my elbow or tenderness in my knees.
Valid point.
So you shouldn't get millions of dollars is what I'm saying. Concussions are part of the game, and it's unfortunate. It's horrific that the young man took the life of his mother, and anybody that Belser from Kansas City that they said suffered, Junior Seau they say suffered. Those are horrific, extreme circumstances in which there should be some sort of medical assistance for them.
Right.
But I don't believe you should be able to sue the NFL because you signed up. And you bet. Think about it. College athletes should be paid.
They should. But that's a whole other discussion.
But I'm just saying, like football, you can't have a prominent athletic program in college sports if you don't have a football program.
Right.
Football drives the needle. But the flip side of that, athletes get riches, they get women, they get free, all this stuff, and they should be paid. But when you go to the NFL, it's open season. You're a king. You're treated, so you can't turn around once the hailing or applause stop and say, I don't want to pay the price anymore. That's what you got to pay.
And that's the issue that I kind of have with it because he's a player that a lot of people may not even know.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have the biggest, greatest, longest career. He fell into homelessness after. He had to move in with his mom. And then his cousin was saying it was like a switch had gone off. His college coach said that he doesn't think Hall even knows he killed his mother. And there's all these different things that his family members and people that know him are saying that's not him. He wouldn't do that. The game changed him ever since he stopped playing. He was a different person. But how much of that can you argue to also the fact that maybe it's a simple issue that he's no longer playing the sport? And I know a number of people that are friends of mine or I just know from college, from professional sports, that when they stop playing and having that adrenaline rush day in and day out of training, of games, and now they're just an average Joe, they can't handle it. And now they're kind of like, what do I do now in life? When you're used to playing a sport so much, 7 days a week, training all the time, 2-3 times a day, constantly eating, sleeping, breathing that sport, and now you no longer have it.
And football is that one sport where you practice more than you play.
Right.
It's the one sport where your whole life is regimented, and from your eating, because you have to eat a certain way, and you have to do those things in basketball too. But with basketball, you can go out and play a competitive basketball game.
Right.
You can't go out and play a competitive NFL level football game. So that's another side to it. The NFL has been under fire, and I don't think it should be, because a lot of these young players have contributed to the growth of the game, and it's a price you pay. It's a price you pay for that money. It's a price you pay to push your body for 6 and 7 years physically, and then all of a sudden you stop. You see NFL linemen go from 300 pounds to 240.
And then they're on The Biggest Loser trying to lose weight.
Some are, but some drop that weight and they live productive lives. It's such an extreme, you live in the world of extremes. The big thing for me, and this is what we talk about, we talk about with soccer. The growth of soccer is worldwide.
Right.
It extends well beyond the United States, and it's appreciated outside of the United States. Probably maybe more than it's appreciated here outside of those who play it. With the NFL, the love is here.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a monopoly in the sense that if you want, you want to play it, that's what it is. I used to see it in boxing before boxing became world became a world sport.
Right.
All these big men were boxers. Now they're running into each other for
Yeah.
So it's a tragedy. It's sad, but as for remorse, I feel no.
Yeah.
I feel none because it's like this. You make more in a training camp than most people make in 6 or 7 months.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think we can now get into something a little less
heavy.
I guess it's heavy. And talking about world famous sports, we'll quickly touch on the NBA. So everybody that's been watching the draft and the trades and everything going on has seen that the face of the league is changing. Mm-hmm. But also the brand of the NBA, the style of basketball is also changing. It's no longer a game of high-low, low post moves. It's more fast breaks turning into three-pointers, which was always the rule. Fast break, you're up 2-on-1, 3-on-2, you get to the basket. Yeah. Cutting in the basket, shooting layups versus shooting threes. It's changing. The look of the game is changing. And we see Ben Simmons commented that the Sixers no longer he's not the point guard. No one's the specific point guard. They get the rebound, they go. Yeah. Brad Stevens was saying with the Celtics, they don't have 5 positions, they have 3. They have a wing, a guard, and a center. Yeah. So the look of basketball is changing. And do you like that change towards, we're even hearing about the talk about a 4-point line. Do you like that change of being more of a shootout versus
I'm hoping not
basketball?
For 4-point play. But when they introduced the 3-point play, it was a lot of people weren't for it then. So, maybe it's just the elder statesman in me. You didn't have to
Good way to put it.
You didn't have to laugh that hard.
Do you remember when the 3-point line was put in?
Actually, it did come out the year I was born. And I know the first person that hit it was Chris Ford. He's from this area, too, by the way. He coached the Sixers. Whatever.
It's okay.
So, I earned my years.
It wasn't that long ago.
No, it was a long time. It was a little slightly before I earned my years. I'm happy, though. To answer your question, I think it's because the center, the ginormous center, doesn't exist right now.
Yeah.
You bring a Shaquille O'Neal into the league, all that changes. When you have a dominant center, then it allows you to play a dominant style of play. When you don't, you play I call it a WNBA style of play. And the reason why I call it a WNBA style of play because it's a high IQ predicated on the fundamental aspects of the game, which
I was wondering where you're going with that, but I like it. I was going to say, what are you going to say?
Well, no, it's probably
about the WNBA, but I like it.
Women's basketball, if I'm taking a young man and I'm saying I'm going to teach you how to play basketball,
right.
I'm turning on the WNBA. I'm not turning on the NBA.
Okay.
And
I like that.
Well, yeah, because you're team woman, but the bottom line is
I'm every woman. It's all in me.
I don't know
that just triggered that song.
You decided to throw that out there. But yeah, so I'm gonna teach them how to play. Yeah, I'm just gonna hop over that. Hop over that with your gender bearing flag. So that's what's happening in the NBA, though. However, the benefit of that is you're seeing more diversity in coaching.
Right.
You're seeing Becky Hammond become a coach. You're seeing much more.
I love watching.
Stephanie Reddy, who gets no love, but she was the first female to coach. Now she's a sideline reporter for the Charlotte Bobcats.
Mm-hmm.
But Stephanie Reddy was like the first to coach. She coached in the NBDL. I believe she won a title in the NBDL. She coached men's basketball, and she's a great basketball mind. So as that game changes, you'll see more diversity coming into the coaching, and that will continue to change style. But I personally don't like the Steph Curry style of play. I prefer the Klay Thompson versus the Steph Curry, but I get it. I don't like the Kevin Durant style of play. I prefer the Russell Westbrook, but I get it.
Okay.
But everything runs in circles. You're too young to understand that. But I'm joking. I'm just joking. But everything runs in cycles. So that's the cycle right now. It's like the 90s when Jordan left. And you had Hakeem Olajuwon, and he dominated the league because he was the only true center. Right. So when the true center comes back, then basketball will come back.
Yeah. I do agree, and I'm just not
That's
there
two
right
today.
Now.
That is two today. I think it's because she didn't stretch beforehand.
That's it. Totally it. No, but I agree in that the big men of the league now, the Dwight Howards, DeAndre Jordans, even Blake Griffin struggles outside the paint. He's getting better at it, but you don't have a lot of players that are true big men that can played like a
Shots at
Draymond
my boy
Green.
Blake, though. Why you take shots at my boy Blake?
Okay, that's really a weakness of his game, though. The numbers don't lie. I don't have them written down, but if we Googled them right now, or if we looked them up, we would find out that him outside the paint versus Kevin Durant or LeBron James outside the paint.
Yeah, but you have to take shots at Blake.
It's not a shot. I like Blake too. I'm a fan. I like his game. I
love it, Blake. If you want to take shots, take
Blake
shots.
Griffin.
The Twitter soldier.
I like the way
that you.
That was the next thing I was gonna say. He's trying to work on his perimeter game too, but Joel Embiid is also that type of player. You see it in LaMarcus Aldridge. Game 1 against the Warriors. Kawhi Leonard goes out. All he had to do was maintain. They were winning. Yeah. And he refused to go to the basket. He's turning away from the basket. He's shooting fadeaway jumpers. He's shooting pull-up jumpers. You're LaMarcus Aldridge. Go into the basket. Post up. Do a postman move. Draymond Green can't guard you. And go to the basket. But the game has changed. And I do agree in the sense, because I was actually a big man back in the day. I played, you know what? Full disclosure, I played all 5 positions. So basically, I started. I feel like I started this change. I was a point guard. I was a center. I guarded the tallest player, brought the ball up. That was me. I was the Kevin Durant. So, I
know we have to take a break, but I'm so
not
about it. I need to see footage. I'm so not buying it.
Fun fact. I guarded the tallest teenager in the world when I was in high school. I'm not going to say
how. Yeah, man.
She went to Pitt. She played basketball at Pitt.
I don't buy it. I don't buy it.
Google
the tallest teen in the world.
And I guarded
and
her.
I'm going to get Yao
I played her and beat her and played lockdown. Fronted her with a little help defense in the back.
Goodness.
But anyways.
Ladies and gentlemen, the competitive spirit of Miss Renee Washington.
That being said, we are going to take a break because we don't have time to hear about all my success
we will revisit that.
And when we get back, we will not revisit that, but we will transition into baseball and Kwame's favorite sport, soccer. So don't go too far because I think you'll like this part of the segment.
I'm looking forward to soccer.
We'll be right back.
Most of the time, it's easy to know which option is better. Other times, not so much. So it's good to know that Mazola corn oil has 4 times more cholesterol-blocking plant sterols than olive oil. And a recent study found that it can help lower cholesterol 2 times more. Take care of those you love and cook deliciously. Mazola makes it better.
La Esperanza Mexican Restaurant and Bar, the best authentic Mexican restaurant in South Jersey. Your friends and family will enjoy the fun and the food, like our staple guacamole, tamales, and ceviche. Our weekday lunch special is just $7.99. We also offer Saturday and Sunday brunch. Enjoy the largest selection of tequilas in South Jersey, Mexican beers, bottle and draft beers, fresh margaritas, and daily beer and margarita specials. La Esperanza Mexican Restaurant and Bar, family owned and operated since 2002.
Hi, I'm Becky.
And I'm Eric.
And this is Cooked and Uncorked.
It is.
It is. And you can check us out Mondays at 10:30.
10:30, every Monday.
See you there. Got a quarter?
Hi, I'm Jim Cucinato. I'm inviting you to watch my show on the Halo Health Network on RBN. We cover everything you always wanted to know about health but was afraid to ask. We have interesting guests who can help you how to live healthier, how you can be smarter about your health, how you can help your family live healthier and be healthier. We are on Tuesdays from 9:30 Eastern Time to 10 o'clock. Please come and watch us.
If you have a story or product that you'd like to share with our viewers as a guest on the Morning Coffee Show, please contact us at info@radiovisionnetwork.com.
Today's show has been sponsored by More Than Gifts. Come see our new location in Marlton, New Jersey. Not just gifts, but more.
We will find you.
We are back. Of course, Kwame can't get over the fact that, yes, what I said before we closed, Here on the Sports Break, we're Renee Washington and Kwame Fisher-Jones, and I guarded the tallest teenager in basketball.
What was her name?
In high school, Marva Dean Anderson.
No, what was her name?
Her name was Bubbles.
Okay, enough said. Instant, no credibility for her.
Hey, anybody that has ever watched SpongeBob knows that Bubbles is the nickname for the toughest person in the area.
Well, if SpongeBob is your barometer, yes, then you're gonna be the toughest person. But it's like the man with one eye.
Bubbles
the man in the Village of the Blind with one eye.
Bubble Bass. Okay, I clearly still watch SpongeBob, and I'm okay with that too. But we're doing full disclosure on the show today. So let's get into
we
baseball.
are trying to find footage of Renee and her basketball
I
uniform.
told you where to find it.
We're gonna find it.
Moving on, baseball. So last night we had home run derby.
Who
I
won?
literally can't. It was the New York Yankees rookie Aaron
Aaron
Judge
Judge?
knocked it out
Wow.
the park, literally, and all pun intended. And tonight we have the All-Star game. So the National League and American League lineups have been picked. And we also have a slight change in that tonight at the Marlins Park in Miami at 8 o'clock, they will not be competing to choose who has home field advantage for the World Series, but it will just be a participation trophy event, as they say.
I'm learning more and more in the window of her, just how competitive she is.
It is a participation trophy.
It is.
It's a fun thing.
Do they still, in the NBA, for the All-Star game, I don't know if they still do this, but there used to be a price difference if you won. You got $10,000 for showing up and $50,000 if you won, for example.
Must be nice to show up and get $10,000.
Well, but that's what used to make the games competitive.
Yes.
That's what baseball should probably consider doing. But, I mean, baseball players are the highest paid athletes, so it should go, the pot should be, $1 million for the winners and like $50 for the
Yeah, it's
losers.
like a $20,000.
Yeah, no, it should be like $50 for like the booby prize and $1 million for the victors. How much harder would they play?
That's true. Now that.
Yes, 4 in a row. I knew you'd come over to the dark side. I was watching it the other day. Dreamgirls. Do you watch Dreamgirls? Yeah, we're all over today. It doesn't matter. You know what? You've never seen Dreamgirls?
Oh, the movie? Yes.
What other Dreamgirls is there?
Listen.
Go ahead. The floor is yours.
So
Floor is yours.
I actually agree in the sense. Wow, I don't know why we're agreeing so much.
Because I'm right.
But you actually, you know what? You are making good. You're making good
side.
points today. You're not making your usual sexist.
It's gonna be
types.
me right.
Whatever. So the NBA All-Star game is brutal to watch until the fourth quarter. I like the first quarter and the fourth quarter. Everything in between is just like they don't even try to play. It's just literally a shootout.
Because LeBron James. I blame LeBron.
What?
Well, because he
As a
is
fan
not.
of LeBron, I don't disagree.
Because
I do disagree with that. I don't like that.
He's not the most competitive. He's not the guy that he's competitive for a championship, but he's not competitive as far as recreational things. Like he'll give up a layup. You get mad if you want. He'll give up a layup. He'll make it. He'll make it so it's fun to watch. He'll throw alley-oops and stuff. But in the closing minutes, he doesn't have that Kobe Bryant, I want to win or else mentality in a recreation. Like, remember a few years ago in the All-Star game when Kobe was defending him and he passed the ball and Kobe got mad because he didn't try to take the shot?
Yes.
Yeah, you can roll your eyes if you side-eye me if you want. I ain't scared of you. I'm not Bubbles. I'll take you on. So, that's what I blame that on. But I put that on LeBron James. As LeBron phases out of the NBA, guys like Jason Tatum, who I didn't think would be as good as he is, I think.
So, you don't think it's because every single player is literally trying to get, and I'm saying literally so many times today because I'm trying to emphasize.
You're literally saying
that,
literally a lot.
But actually, it's something I do a lot. I do say literally a lot. Stop. So, let me get my fire warmed up as I get ready to say this. You don't think it's because every player is trying to get MVP? You saw Russell.
No, I don't.
Russell Westbrook was not moling, trying to score as much as he can, actually running past people to score.
Well, I
people that were wide open under the basket, and he's going to the basket himself and doing. Okay, he was doing his little nice finishes.
There's complexity
dunks,
to contradiction.
Spinning dunks.
You're right.
Nice little layups, but it's all for MVP. I don't think it's LeBron.
It's context. Every player's not. Certain players are, so that's why they're able.
Each team had like 3-4 players that was trying to get MVP.
A few years ago, Anthony Davis was trying to win MVP.
He was.
And they were trying to help him, but he couldn't sustain
I thought that was last year. That was 2 years ago?
I said a couple. I don't know exactly.
Time flies if that was 2 years ago.
Time flies for you, huh? Apparently.
Because I feel like that was just, I don't know.
Yo, look at you. A whole 2 years ago.
Oh, 2 years.
2 years ago, what were you in high school? Were you in high school 2 years ago?
I was actually getting my master's, thank you.
Oh. That is brilliant and competitive.
Anyways, I just think that we started out talking about baseball. And look at you bringing it back to basketball.
Well, it's good though, because it's good dialogue, because your overall point is right. The competitive fire is not there in the All-Star game, and that's a problem. I blame the new millennials. I blame the 140 character crowd, where the 30-second highlight takes reign over the sustained excellence. If you had guys who wanted to win an All-Star game versus just making the All-Star team, then things change. That's the difference. There's an appreciation for the conquest versus just celebrating being on the journey. And that's that, not to get too profound.
Okay, well, I do like the fact that now in baseball they're making sure every player gets a chance to play. So all the fans, anybody watching, they do get a chance to see their favorite player out there. So that's the benefit of having this. But we're going to switch gears here because we can't go without saying, let me get comfortable, all American soccer, or all soccer fans, so anybody but Kwame, truly recognize the greatness of yesterday. Yes. July 10th, 1999, when Brandi Chastain, who wasn't even supposed to take a penalty kick.
That's right.
The U.S. Women's National Team, that's right. The U.S. Women's National Team was facing China in the championship of the World Cup game. Tony DeCicco, may he rest in peace, he just passed away recently. Head coach made a great decision to put her in as the fifth kicker. Now, she had missed against China 4 months before that.
Get to the good
hit the crossbar. No, this is all the good parts.
No, it's not.
It is.
No, it's
not. She hits the crossbar 4 months before.
She created a new sport.
She changed her kicking foot, which is like changing your shooting hand in
basketball. Get to the good part.
And scores the game
and then what did she do?
Kick. Takes off her
shirt. There we go. That's the highlight. That's the money shot. That's what we wanted. We got to thank Brandi for that, because if it wasn't for her, we never would have had lingerie football. We never would have had all these beautiful sports that have come and joined us, because she showed how great of an athlete not only women can be, but they can still be beautiful as they are great. I appreciate that. It's a highlight of American sports.
Wow.
Highlight of sports.
Wow. The sexist comment.
How was that sexist?
Because that's a great moment in American sports history.
The victory was she to
and you're happy
it's not American sports
history. Are
history.
you happy because she was in her sports bra, or are you happy because she did the knee sliding celebration that is now an image of American sports championships?
Are you going to allow me to answer, or are you going to punch me?
I don't know if I want you to answer.
Well, you're going to get it anyway. I enjoyed her enthusiasm, the fact that she let it all hang out, and the fact that she was not worried about being, a woman taking her shirt off and celebrating. She just did it and took it out, and it's a great symbol of genderless greatness. That's what I appreciated.
Better have cleaned it up.
And it's not cleaning it up. It's because she embraced.
You said laundry.
Yeah, because if she doesn't do that, then you have women that want to come out and say, "Oh well, you can't be an athlete and be pretty, or you can't be an athlete and take your shirt off. You can't do that. Women have to be stoic, and we have to be serious." And she, for a moment, she was a happy, celebratory athlete, and it gave birth to so many other leagues where they highlight, yes, we're women, but we're also great athletes.
Okay. Well, what I liked about it as a young female soccer player was...
She got 2 feet. You should be able to kick with both.
Can you shoot with both hands?
Yes. Can I? Yes.
Consistently shoot with both hands.
That's
do you know how hard it is to shoot a penalty kick with your non-dominant foot? Exactly.
But do I know how hard it is to slide across glass with my shirt off too?
As someone that was very young at the time, watching this team, Mia Hamm, Brandi Chastain, Christine Lilly, all these great soccer players, and to see that moment, I mean, I was actually watching the video yesterday in honor of the anniversary, and I was still getting chills. It's something that you don't see that love and that enthusiasm for the sport as much today. I mean, you saw it when Carly Lloyd had her hat trick.
Did you watch any men's soccer highlights? So who's sexist? Did you watch any male soccer highlights?
What are you talking about?
You only watch the women, that's sexist. You only supported the women. That's sexist.
It was the anniversary of the goal, so I watched the whole.
But
breakdown.
have men's soccer not had any anniversaries? Have they not done
always
something
do
to
the
soccer?
same celebration.
See, sexist. Sexist. The men do the same celebration. That's not important.
A little like wipe and clean.
Yeah, but the women take their shirt off. Oh, let's clap for the woman who took her shirt off
It's
and
not about
sent
the shirt being off.
chills because she did it backwards kick. Oh, it's so great. But the men, all they do is wipe their cleats. You know how hard it is to get stains out of your cleats?
Oh my god. The point that I'm saying is the celebration was great, but it was everything together. It wasn't just the shirt coming off.
The celebration
it
was
the
accumulation of.
What?
The celebration was the accumulation of all. That's what
Right, but it was the fact that she came back. It's also a story of perseverance. She missed that PK 4 months before against the same team, hits the crossbar. They're doubting her. Should you take it? Should you take it? She decides to take it. She scores it. That's a story. That alone could be a movie. That's a story of perseverance.
Really good.
Because she came back.
It's not barely
her and her coach decided, you know what? I'm going to take this kick. I'm going to be fifth. 9 kicks go by. She's the deciding kick, which you probably also don't know how hard penalty kicks are. As someone that took penalty kicks for all my teams and won games on PKs and lost games on PKs, it is like the most gut-wrenching. It is the most gut-wrenching part of soccer.
Story right
that
now.
We're losing in the final minutes.
Oh,
those two things, PKs, when it's out of your...
Oh, God. It's so hard watching something 3 hours and scoring 1 goal. Oh, stab me with a spoon. But that was the highlight. I love that. And, you know, she changed. Seriously. No, seriously. Would you say that moment possibly could have changed women's sports in America?
It did. That's the whole reason why it was incredible. She changed.
No, I'm being sincere right now.
I am too. That team and that moment is something that you still hear about all the time.
It changed.
It changed women's sports. And it changed American sports because it's a moment that now kind of played how great women's sports really can be.
But for you, that's what you got from it. And I'm not saying that's wrong because you're going to tell me I'm wrong, but I would never do that because I'm not sexist. But, you know, for men, it allowed us to embrace the female athlete as being a beautiful athlete. And that's what women have been trying to get away from, and it allowed that to happen. That's why I think it changed women's sports.
Well, I think it allowed men to also appreciate that women's soccer is just as competitive and exciting, and beyond just the reasons of looks, that you know women's sports can be just as exciting as male sports.
It's exciting.
That it can have you on the edge of your seat and crying and happy. I mean, you watch all the time where fans are crying in the stands, and now we're seeing that in soccer games. Women's
games.
Are you going to
be able to get off that high horse in your skirt, in your dress? Are you going to be able to get off the high horse?
Yeah, because I'm a woman. And I'll do it with one leg.
On that note, I think we're going to wrap this thing.
Yes. Of course, we could talk about soccer all day, but just had to, being that it's, unfortunately we weren't here yesterday, or else we would have talked about it yesterday, probably the entire show. But happy anniversary for the Brandy Chastain goal.
Topless goal.
And
topless celebration.
Brawl.
Topless celebration. Sports brawl's at the top.
Anyways, we are sadly out of time. Kwame has talked enough. I wish we could continue talking about this, but that being said, you can always see more of our episodes on rvntv.tv. We are also on Facebook. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I believe we're on Twitter now too. But we'll be back. I'll be back on Thursday for more of the Sports Break with Kwame Fisher-Jones. So I hope to see you then. Have a good day.